Well, the press conference is over and we're with Andrew Weise from America. Andrew, first off, whereabouts in America? What's your club? And tell us all about your boat.
Okay, so we are outside of New York City, about 25 miles to the east in Larchmont. So we're fortunate enough to be on the harbor there. I can look out in the morning and see my boat on a mooring. And we belong, our primary club is Storm Tristle Club and Larchmont Yacht Club. And then
excellent.
Sort of another piece is New York Yacht Club, but that's, we're strong Storm Tristle members.
Well, that's excellent, because it's a great club.
It's a great club, and we've got 8 of the 10 crew members this year are all members of the club.
Oh, fantastic.
So the last 2 we're going to get in after this race.
Oh, good. Oh, well, I'll be very happy about that.
Yep.
And so tell us about the boat.
So the boat, originally started the boat as a Sydney 43. They were originally built here, and we were looking for a curve boat in 2013. We had a J122 for 7 years and done pretty well with that. So we thought it's time to move to a bigger boat and do some more ocean racing.
Yeah.
And the molds were moved to Croatia. So we had the basic hull, same as occasional course language here, but after that everything changed. So we have a little less wind on the East Coast. We put the mast up a meter above the hounds. We have a different rudder, different keel, and a different sprit. So we just this winter lightened the boat up about 500 kg. Mm-hmm. We put a deeper keel on the boat, different fin, and a longer sprit, and increased the size of our spinnakers, jib, and mainsail a little bit. So it's a little more powerful boat than it was originally. Well,
it certainly wasn't cosmetic, was it?
No, no. We sprayed we did an all grip job when we were doing it. That was about it.
And so what about, I suppose the trip has been fairly seamless so far, has it?
Oh, ups and downs. So the getting the boat here worked out pretty well. We decided that we didn't want to have to pick the whole boat and put it back together again. So we put it on 7-star, and it went on deck cargo from Florida to Newcastle, and we called up the Kellets, who've been great. They picked the boat up and brought it to Woolwich Dock. Yeah. Everything was great until I was on a plane in LA, and I got a email from Justine here saying there was a problem with our ISAF acceptance. And I said, oh, you're going 12,000 miles and have a problem.
Indeed.
And turns out when we did the keel, the designer had not done all the submittals. We've worked on it the last 3 days. We've worked on a company called JBC Engineering here. Everybody's been fantastic. And yesterday, when everybody went to the zoo, myself and the boat captain put everything together, and we are ready to go and cleared to race.
Great. Now, what about the forecast? Are you happy with that? Does it suit your boat?
Yeah, I think we'd like. I think it'll be lighter in the beginning, which will help us. The boats we match up in the U.S. we do very well running and reaching. The boats here seem to be a little more oriented that way, but I think we're okay. We've tried to make the boat with the changes into a good all-around boat, and I think we're okay. I've never sailed against the boats here, so I don't know.
Well, that's right. Well, this is your first Hobart race, of course. Yep. But don't forget that you're going below 40, so with lots of things happen very quickly.
Yes,
that sort of area.
We've spent a lot of time preparing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully we've done it right.
Over the kitchen table? Or?
Over the kitchen table, over pizza, Chinese food, turkey night one night. We've all worked. Everyone's worked pretty hard going through this stuff.
Good. And how many on the crew?
10.
10. What sort of sales? Who's your sail maker?
UK sales.
UK sales.
We've had a relationship with Butch Ulmer since I was 13 years old, and he's done a lot of offshore races with us, and we've really tried to tailor the sail inventory for this race a little bit. Bought a couple of new sails, and we started in the summer doing stuff, and I think we have everything right. We'll see. We got a new number 5. We put up, Butch and I put on the dock in Larchmont. I said, I hope I never see it again. We'll see. Oh, good.
Well, look, congratulations for coming this far. We really appreciate it. There's only 100 and odd boats in the race, so you'll have lots of friends out there. So, good luck.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're with Bob Steele, who is the skipper of Quest. Now, this must be the most convoluted story of the whole 2017 Rolex Sydney Hobart race as far as boat skippering and ownership is concerned. So Bob, just to set the record straight, you better tell us exactly what's going on.
I was sitting quietly at home and the phone rang, and it was our sailing master saying, the boys want to meet you down in the bar of the CYC. So I came down and they said, look, Paul's decided that he's not going to Hobart this year. He has some family commitments. His son is getting married.
This is Paul Clitheroe, the owner of a boat called Balance, which used to be your boat called Quest, until you sold it to him for an outrageous price. Is that the same person we're talking about?
Well, he would probably agree, and I would probably deny that as a fact. But this is the boat that I won the 2008 Hobart in, and it's the same boat that won, believe it or not, the 2015 Hobart under Paul's ownership. So it's a great boat. But I was just sitting quietly there, and the boys said, look, Paul's not going, his son's getting married, and Paul said the only guy that he'll give the boat to is Bob Steele. Go talk to Bob. So of course they came down here. They came down with an allocation of the equivalent of about half a dozen schooners of beer as their fund, and of course they gave me a schooner of beer, and I signed up after the first one, forgot the last 5, so I'm a bit of a mug.
Oh,
but
mate, that was an easy touch.
It was. I was touched badly, and so therefore they rolled me, and I'm now taking the yacht down, which is known as Balance. But Clitheroe said, look, Bob, he said, you know, you've got a colourful background. That's the way he described it. I said, thanks, Paul.
I'd agree there.
Thank you. He said, look, you know, you can take the boat down. The boys are very happy to have you with them, and I'm very happy to give you the boat for the race. But he said, would you mind changing the name of the boat from my name, because my reputation is pretty pristine, to something that you think of, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And I said, I think I've got a name. So I stuck the mighty Quest back on it.
I just happened to have a hat that's got a name on it.
Oh yeah, I just happened, yeah. So consequently it's going as Quest. It'll come back and we'll change it back to Balance, and life will go on. I've got a smaller Quest, a 42 footer now, a turboed Mat 1180 that was going a bit too slow for me. So I think waterline length's got something to do with that. And but anyway, that's another story.
I mean, you've only just worked that out, have you?
I have actually. No, I worked it out the day that I came into the harbour, and the boys said, welcome back, Bob, it's great to see you. And that was the last I saw of them, because they were all my mates in the TPs, and I was in the 39 footer. Only saw them at the start. And I thought, no, this is not a good move, Bob. But you know, I'd retired, and my beautiful bride caught me at home saying, what are you doing lying on the lounge? And I made a couple of excuses, like watching TV and reading the newspaper, because I'm multi-skilled. And then she said something like, get off your backside. And I thought, new boat. But I really didn't think, and I thought I'd be conservative and buy a 40 footer. That would be a nice little size and it'd be affordable. And but it wasn't the money. I've now regretted, because I could have bought a 60 footer. She still had the same purpose, get me out of the house. So
what a mistake that was.
What a big mistake, mate. You keep making mistakes even at my age.
Oh, mate, well, you should know by now, Bob. You've been around it for a while, mate.
I'm still learning lessons, mate. I'm still learning lessons, yeah.
So now, tell us about Balance. Quest, sorry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
which Quest?
Yeah, which Quest?
The old Quest or the new Quest?
No, this is the new Quest.
Oh, you mean this Quest? The TP Quest or the Mat 1180 Quest?
Now, what have you done? Have you done anything to it?
Well, when I decided,
your realm?
No, I bought it back from. I had it built in Europe, bought it back to Australia, did the Hamilton Island Race Week, and the Australian titles, and won Division B in it as a Mat 1180. Then we did the Sydney to Coffs Harbour race and came second in Division, third overall. And we haven't done too much since then, and I decided that it wasn't quite quick enough, so I turboed it. I put a metre on the back and a metre on the mast, and a bit on the keel, and a bit on the boom, and a bit on the sails, and you know, it'll go faster. But you know, no one reminded me that there'd be an extra 40 clicks in it, so I'm probably back to where I started with a 39 footer. I am slow to learn, mate. But anyway, we'll have fun in that. We'll have fun in that. And who knows? Never say never, mate. You know, I might go back to a big boat. You just don't know. Watch this space.
All those 100 footers are coming to Australia.
No, we're not going 100 footers. I met a guy the other day who said he was looking for a TP 52, and a broker said, why don't you buy this? So he's bought Loyal. Indeed. And I said, well, he said it was about the same price as a TP. I said, only the first time.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Now, getting back to the boat that you're going to Hobart on, now,
Yes, sir.
What about you put any sails on it, Bob? Or?
Yes, we've got some good new sails. We've got a couple of new spinnakers and headsails, and you know, everything that's needed for that boat is absolutely first class, whether it's new or second hand. You know, it's they're all great shape. The boat's in great shape, the crew are in good shape. They've been sailing together for years now. So, you know, we can only do our best. But as I said, this is probably, and I keep saying it to people, and no one's said that I'm wrong. I'm saying that this is the best fleet ever to go in a Hobart race, full stop. And the more I say that, no one has responded by saying you're wrong. And I've been talking to yachties, I've been talking to media, but it's interesting. The media haven't got onto that. You know, the media haven't said, they haven't worked out that this is the best fleet ever to sail in the Rolex Sydney to Hobart yacht race.
They're hedging their bets, mate. They're hedging their bets.
Maybe. Maybe they don't want to offend the old boys, like myself. Or those tough races that we had before.
So, talking about your crew, you haven't done anything else? You just taken the crew and just jumped on board yourself, is it?
I put a couple of untouchables on, which was Neil Newton and Andrew Banker Pearson. They're on with me.
Greeny will run it?
And Greeny's our sailing master as usual. He was my sailing master, he's Paul's sailing master. When he's not sailing for Paul, he's sailing with me as my sailing master. So we're taking those three, and we've got people like Brownie and Cribby and those guys, Clinton, Evans, who's a great sailor and looks after my boat and looks after Paul's boat. He's coming. So they're all guys that have sailed together for years.
That's a good crew, yeah.
We've got a good crew. So we just got to have a bit of luck, mate. I mean, the only thing in this race, everything else, we've got to have no breakages. We've got to do nothing wrong on the course as far as navigating is concerned, and we've got to have a lot of luck.
And you're not to hit anybody at the heads or go to Manly?
No.
As you've done in the past?
Well, I didn't say that, but you brought it up. I don't know. You must be older than I am if you can remember those awful incidents.
I have it all on tape.
Thank you. Thank you, mate.
Anytime you want it, mate, I can replay it for you.
Okay.
Listen, have a great race.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
I know that you're going to go, it's going to be your weather, I hate to tell you.
Oh, well, that's good.
And the reason why I hate to tell you is because you're going to be up all night. You're going to be screaming down the coast.
Yeah, well, I don't mind that, mate.
Speed, mate.
Who cares? That's what we want.
Definitely, that boat goes well. It's just a beautiful boat.
It's a lovely boat.
Sensational boat, yeah.
Yeah.
We love it.
We'll see.
Congratulations.
Thank you, mate.
All the best.
Thank you.
We're with Jim Cooney, the new owner of LDV Comanche, and you've got the beast in the backyard now, Jim. So tell us all about how you're feeling.
Oh, it's exhilarating. The last 6 days of training on the boat. Each day I've learned twice as much as I did the previous day. But the great thing is that the crew around me are so experienced. These guys have sailed many thousands of miles on that boat, and it's not a challenge for them. This is a sprint. So the challenge is for me to be up to speed as much as they are, which I won't get there by the start line, but maybe by the finish line I will.
But Jim, you're a big boat man. You've had large boats before. Is the step from Maserati, the Volvo 70 to Comanche that large?
It hasn't been as big as I expected it to, Jeff. To be honest, it was, of course, first day stepping on the boat. It's long and it's wide and everything is enormous. But actually, once she gets moving, and if you can get some heel, lay her over a bit, dig that chine in, it's a very well behaved boat. It's very, very polite on the wheel. Sorry?
How did she feel? How did she handle it?
Well, yes, surprisingly easy on the wheel and pretty responsive. She's very weight sensitive, very sensitive to the distribution of weight, even crew weight. So the ballast tanks are there to do their job, and we've found that even half filling a tank makes a big difference of the three each side, and it's more delicately balanced than I expected it to be. It's not a big tank. It's big, but it's not a tank.
She just looks it.
Yes.
So what have you got planned for the rest of this year? You must have a plan for 18, do you?
Yes, we're certainly. What we expect to do is Australian East Coast or maybe Australian-based races. We might consider some of the Pacific races, basing ourselves out of Sydney for 2018. Beyond that, then maybe we'll take her north again for a campaign in the middle part of the year. I think that would be pretty exciting. She's a great boat to go anywhere, really. But I think in the next 12 months we'll be staying Sydney-based and cutting our teeth on the local races.
So the plan now is to, for as far as the next 24 or 48 hours, is everything okay? Is it all ready to go?
Yeah, the boys are packing the boat right now. We had our last sail yesterday and ticked off the remaining boxes, so it's the boat's ready to go. We're just loading supplies and breakfast for lunch rather for Tuesday. Nothing more to do on the boat. She's all set for the family. We're kind of used to Christmas being the day before the race, so we'll take it fairly quietly today and tomorrow and hydrate and rest and be ready for the race on Tuesday. James, my son, and Julie, my daughter, are no strangers to ocean racing. They've done plenty of it with me, and they've now done 2 Hobarts and 1 respectively. So we'll all just have a bit of fun at home and then have a bit of fun on the boat.
How are they feeling about your purchase?
Oh, James can't believe it. He's still pinching himself. He knew every fact there was to know about the boat, long before we thought about possibility of buying it. So he's a dog with 2 tails, really, and I think we all are. Julia's very excited. She's a very calm and kind of measured sailor, and very capable. We've been 2 years ago on Brindabella, we were bashing into it, and she was chest deep in water on the leeward side trimming, and Jeremy Tilse was on the pumps beside her, while the big tough hairy boys were downstairs feeling seasick. So she's ready for anything as well.
So it's a friendly family as far as ocean racing is concerned.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that we've always done together, Jeff, and I wouldn't be doing this if the family weren't able to do it with me. It's an important part. We like to have fun doing it.
Well, it's big for the sport though, Jim, because the fact that we've got 4 of the major maxis in the world, the biggest 4, right here in Australia in the southern hemisphere. So it's huge.
It's tremendously exciting, and I haven't checked the records to see how many times there've been 400 footers. Or whether they were 98s, 4 super maxis on the line, but there've never been 4 super maxis on the line that are all Australian owned. So it's a pretty friendly but tough local competition.
And the top 4 too, Jim.
Yes, for sure. I think these boats have been. You have to remember that none, apart from Comanche, she's pretty much in original condition. But we're not looking at the same Wild Oats from 2005, nor Blackjack, nor Infotrack. So they're all they're up to date boats, and yes, they are the best 4 in the world.
Well, congratulations on the purchase. Have you heard from the ex-owner? Has he been in touch? Or?
No, he hasn't. I think Jim was once he made his mind up. He's one of those guys. He is. Yeah, it's done. Yeah,
good.
Done.
Well, look, we're all with you. Congratulations, and have a great race, and we'll see you down Hobart.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jeff.
Best. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Well, it's Christmas Eve, and we're at the CYC, and have a guess who's just flown in from Portsmouth. It's the man that's running the BAR. What's happening in Portsmouth, Skip?
Well, the boys stopped work yesterday, actually, so they're having a few days off for Christmas, back at work on the 7th, which is last good break before we really hook into the design process. Class rule is not out till March, but to be fair to the Kiwis, they're sort of feeding us quite a lot of information as we go, both to kind of get our opinion on stuff, and to just engage us in the process. So I think that's going okay, actually, and that allows us to do some design studies with kind of the best guess of what we think the boat's going to be.
How are you feeling about it? Are you optimistic?
Yeah, of course I'm optimistic. Early in the campaign, yeah. We're making a few changes here and there, and the boat is exciting and challenging, and we've really got to figure it out. All the teams are going to have to figure this boat out. I was surprised they went that radical, but yeah, it's a challenge.
It's big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big thing, and it's a challenging thing.
But it's very difficult to sort of get your mind around that particular concept, isn't it?
Well, it's not like a boat that really we've seen. Certainly not at that scale. I'm hoping that a few of the other teams will build some what we call surrogate boats, but smaller scale boats. You're not allowed to do it more than 12 metres. But I'm hoping a couple of the other teams will build some boats like that, and we'll be watching to see how they go. We've got some plans in that regard as well.
Oh, good.
So I can imagine Ben and the boys doing a bit of swimming in the Sol and in bloody freezing conditions.
I can't say not at this sort of weather.
Yeah, I know. No way. They'll need a dry suit. Yeah.
That's good. And it's what do you think of the operation in Portsmouth? You happy with how they've set those things up?
Pretty impressive. You've been to the base there?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. I'm giving them a hard time saying it's over the top, but it's impressive.
Well, it is over the top. Let's face it.
Yeah.
From what we're used to, Skip.
But they, they've done a really nice job commercially with BAR.
Yeah.
And Land Rover are with us again.
Good.
Big sponsor. Yeah. Really committed to the team.
Yeah.
Providing both technical support and funding. And that is really important to have such a big sponsor like that with us. So commercially, our commercial team have done an excellent job.
Well, it's good for the sport, isn't it? Really, just not only for BAR, but for the sport in general, because then it shows just exactly what can happen and who's involved.
Yeah. And that, the promotion of the sport and bringing sponsors and fans to the sport of sailing, something we've been working hard at in the Americas Cup with the TV product and closeness of racing, the change of the format of the racing. And I'm just hoping that this new style of boat, even though it'll be on a slightly bigger course, I'm hoping that we don't lose the sort of steps that we've made towards getting a broader audience to the sport of sailing. We need that at all levels of our sport.
Well, if it's successful, it surely should come, because the fact that it's radical, so it's going to, all the kids will love this sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, foiling, if you're a teenager these days,
that's right, yeah. Well,
you're not really thinking about a displacement boat anymore. You're thinking about going foiling on a Moth or a Super Series boat, or it's what everybody wants to do.
Yeah. Well, didn't Russell call us dinosaurs?
Yeah, I'm in that category these days. Yeah.
So am I. Mate, we're here for the Hobart race, so we should be talking about that. Anyhow, congratulations on your job. And
thank you.
You're with a great team. I know that.
Yeah.
Now tell us about InfoTrack.
Oh, InfoTrack, it's interesting. Coco, my old mate Coco, rang me and said, come and give us a hand, come and do the Hobart with us. And I said, okay, Coco, I'll do it. And then now Coco's not doing it, I'm still doing it.
Indeed, yeah.
But it's fun
to be... He's got a bad back, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, no, there's a bit of a story there, but it's fun to sail with Tommy and the boys. Got some really good guys on board. Goobs, Ian Jensen and Ben Lamb. So there's some good guys and some experienced guys like John O'Swain, and so it's a nice mix. And obviously Christian's got a few of his mates with him, and none of them have been offshore before. So we're kind of managing that side of it as well. And our role is just to do a good job, position the boat as best we can, look for opportunities and try to get a good result.
Now the boat itself has got a great history, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Started off as a speedboat built in New Zealand.
Yeah, it's the VMG running is nice to be light VMG running, and we're kind of the heaviest boat there. Yeah. So that means we'll struggle a little bit with the VMG running, but we'll just push it as hard as we can, and hopefully something will unfold for us.
As an observer, a very keen observer over the years, Skip, fancy having four of the major maxis all in one area, especially in the Southern Hemisphere. It's unheard of, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be great racing, and the forecast is unbelievably good. And it hasn't changed. The models are in agreement. It's been kind of static, and for our part of the race, we're finishing on the night of the 27th, if we're not becalmed in the river. It seems just really stable.
Nothing's happened, hasn't it? Usually it's coming in from the Indian Ocean, down pushing the weather and whatever, but nothing's there.
Yeah, models are consistent, and it'd be unlikely for it to change now. So. anyway, it's going to be a good race, and we're kind of looking forward to it. And in some respects, with Christian and the guys that he's taking, just getting them to do their first race, a slightly easier race, I think will be good for them, and they'll just learn the discipline of being offshore and you know, getting your boat through the race, taking care of the boat. They'll learn about all that sort of stuff.
Well, it's certainly the type of race to do it, isn't it? Not that you usually subtly changes, bashing to weather, etc. No, that's great. Look, good to talk to you. Congratulations on the VAR thing. Look forward to seeing what happens in the next 4 or 5 years. And have a great race.
Thank you. Thanks.
We're with Christian Beck. Now, Christian's the man at the moment because he's bought Speedboat, which is the boat that was built many years ago to be the fastest in the world, and it's done a wonderful job. It's done a lot of things for itself. It's turned turtle off island. It's won the Hobart race last year, and he's bought it, and he's a new man to sailing. And Christian, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
So tell us what you expect. What's going on now? You're 24 hours out from the start of the race, or 48 hours.
Yeah, look, I'm expecting it to be a pleasant ride. I'm expecting it to be a lot of fun. I'm not really expecting us to win, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the weather conditions aren't good for us to be first out of the heads, which is one of the things that boat is good at. But unfortunately, we need a bit more wind to do well in those conditions, and it doesn't look like we'll get them for the start, unfortunately.
So tell us what you've been doing as far as sailing is concerned. Are you
Sure, I've got a Kerr 11.3 called Dump Truck that I've been sailing in the Lane Cove River from Greenwich Flying Squadron, so we did twilights on Wednesday nights. But it's very, very casual. I even threw away all the spinnakers because I know I don't like spinnakers. Don't know how to use them. So I threw them all out, and I've just been twilighting with my kids and things like that.
Well, mate, you can't throw them out now. You've got 20 people on board and you've got all the gear, so you're going to be seeing everything.
Yeah, well, this boat's got furling spinnakers, which is easier. But I think you're right, I can't throw them out now, but I've got guys that know how to do it. Whereas on the 38-footer, I have been skippering it, so I needed to set it up to my my skill level.
Can I say it's sort of like a radical movement as far as moving from the Lane Cove River nose spinnakers to the front of the 105 boat fleet?
It is radical, and it's not the plan I had. I was actually looking around for a TP52, but petrol oil came up what I consider to be a cheap price, and it's one of those things, you look at something and you're out looking for something, and something bigger and better with a few issues comes up, and you think, oh, do I take the punt? And I have, and so far it's been good, but I just hope it keeps working all right for me.
Look, I think it's absolutely courageous, and I think it's wonderful. It's great for the sport to have somebody like yourself move into this area. It's something that we need as far as the sport is concerned, and it's certainly, as far as you're concerned, I'm sure it's going to be a great learning curve.
Well, thank you. I'm surprised to hear you think you need a guy like me, but I'm very flattered. Thank you. No, well, look, the sport needs new people to come into it and to boost what we've got going. And it's what sailing is a sport whereby it's just the same people all the time. But to see somebody new like you that comes in enthusiastically and to take up the mantle of something like 100-foot maxi, heavens above, that's great news. We love this sort of thing. Well, thank you. I'm very pleased to hear that. Thank you. So I believe you're taking a few of your staff with you, a few of your mates? Yeah, there's 8 of us and 8 guys that have never been on ocean race before, and the pro sailors probably consider us all dead weight, so we're being very nice to the pro sailors so they don't cause a mutiny. And what are you expecting to turn them into pro sailors, are you, or is it a one-off thing? Or? No, I'm not expecting to turn those guys into pro sailors, but I'm trying to try and learn myself. But look, a lot of it is to bring the company culture with the boat. So basically I'm trying something a bit different there, where I'm sort of making, it's sponsored by the boat, but it's also got employees of the boat on there. We're going to do a whole lot of corporate days, and anyone that works for InfoTrack has got a chance of going on the super-maxi in the Sydney Hobart, which I think is a unique attraction point, really. Fantastic, yes, what an incentive. Yeah, that's right. Indeed.
Well, look, that's great. Now, tell us about InfoTrack. We should ask you that. Yeah, that's what does the company do?
So InfoTrack, it essentially links into all the government departments, so it makes it really easy to find out who owns properties, companies, and any of the issues relating to that. Like you can work out who owns a house, have they got a mortgage on it, how much they paid for it, what the mortgage was, and you can check all the legal titles. Mostly used by lawyers and accountants and financial planners, but more and more people are coming direct to the website just to find that information themselves.
And it's an Australian company?
It's an Australian company, but we have an operation in the UK and the US.
Good. Well, congratulations once more. Have a great race. We'll see you in Hobart, so I hope that when you get down there you'll say, yes, let's do more of this.
Me too. Thank you.
All the best. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.